Welcome to the Egg Whisperer Show, a podcast exclusively designed to create more reproductive health awareness and discuss your fertility preservation options. Here is your host, the Harvard-educated fertility specialist, Dr. Amy.
I am so excited, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. I have Maureen Brown from Mosie Baby on tonight's show. Hi, Maureen.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. I'm in San Ramon, California. That's right outside San Francisco. And tell us where you're coming from.
I'm coming from Austin, Texas.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us tonight. So, Maureen, you and I have a lot in common. I talk about sex all day long, and you talk about sex all day long, too. Can you just tell us a little bit more about yourself and about Mosie Baby?
Sure. So first, I'll tell you a little bit about myself, which is my husband and I struggled with unexplained infertility. And along the way, we tried a whole bunch of things, and that led us down a path, which eventually led us down an entrepreneurial journey where we started our company, Mosie Baby.
Awesome.
And what we did is we created a syringe for people to get pregnant in the privacy of their own home.
And there's no needle on that syringe, right?
No needle. We're the first syringe designed for insemination.
I love it.
We kept wondering why there wasn't something like this that we could do on our own in the comfort of our own home before doing more expensive and often invasive procedures.
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted to make sure we did everything we could on our own. And when we couldn't find it, we ended up making it.
I love it. And then tell us about what you ended up doing to get pregnant. I mean, I think the Mosie Baby was part of your journey as well.
Yes. So our first child was the inspiration for the Mosie. And then our second child was actually the first Mosie Baby. So we struggled with our first for over 2.5 years and eventually got pregnant through IUI. But during that journey, we had this idea and we couldn't let it go and kind of started down this path. And so fast forward sometime later, we had our beautiful daughter and we ended up with a prototype and a prototype kit, and we used it one weekend when we knew I was ovulating and followed our directions. And to our delight, we got pregnant. And so we now have our son, Frank, who is 3 years old, and he is the world's first Mosie Baby.
Awesome. And does he know that he's the world's first Mosie Baby? I'm just saying, I mean.
He's heard himself called Mosie Baby.
Yeah, but he doesn't know what it means yet. Because I
still
imagine when he's older, he's like, oh my God, it is so gross, Mom. Stop saying that.
No, I know. Well, it's funny because you mentioned like talking about sex and stuff. We don't all know our conception story, but my children are definitely going to grow up knowing theirs.
Right. And then you didn't call the Mosie Frank Baby. So where did the name Mosie come from? That's what I want to know.
So yes, that is a good question. And Mosie actually was my husband's nickname for me. So my name is Maureen, and a lot of Maureens are called Mo as a nickname, and he called me Mosie.
Nice.
So unfortunately now Mosie is really no longer my nickname anymore because it's definitely used for the Mosie syringe and our company Mosie Baby. But I'm happy to have my nickname shared with our company.
Cool. And do you and your husband work together?
We do. So we founded the company together and we still work together. We've been doing this for 4 years now, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's been a journey, but honestly, I am so proud to work with him. And he's just the best person for this business. He understands it as a male and what that experience is like to struggle and to do that with someone that you care about and want to start a life with, a family with. So he definitely understands that journey and has been a fantastic partner.
Well, I want to see a kit now. Do you have one?
Well, I do. I have a kit here. We ship it in a very discreet packaging. So if you're worried about that, I want people to know.
It doesn't have like a big sperm on the outside.
It doesn't have a big sperm. It doesn't have anything big on the outside. But the kit itself is really fun. We wanted to make sure that people knew that we were really thankful to them for inviting us into this intimate space, but also wanted to celebrate that you can make a baby with a whole lot of love this way, that no matter how your baby is made, that it comes with love. So we have some really fun packaging. When you open it up, it says, let's make a baby. And then on the inside, if you flip it open, we've got some words of encouragement. I don't know if we can see it as well for instructions, which I can open up for a second. And then you see the collection cup, is here, and our syringes, the Mosie syringes, come clean room assembled and in a medically sealed pouch. And there's more fun little stuff in there, but we'll let you see that if you end up using the kit.
Awesome.
And then the directions themselves are very simple, very straightforward, with some educational information on the back to make sure you understand about ovulation.
Awesome. So tell us about how you time ovulation. What do you tell people with that kit?
So we recommend a two-step approach, and we encourage people to learn about their cycle. Of course, you need to know when your period started.
And get your tushy checked, people, at the same time.
Get your
Tushy checked.
Tushy. Okay.
Tushy method.
There you go. And we want people to understand their cervical mucus. So understanding your body is one piece of the approach. And then the other piece is it's really helpful to monitor with an ovulation predictor kit.
Yeah.
And for many people, that gives you the confidence between the two, between you self-monitoring, often checking your cervix as a part of that, your cervical mucus, understanding your cycle, and then confirming with an ovulation predictor kit.
Right. And then the Mosie is really for anybody. I mean, it's for single women who are using donor sperm at home, maybe. It's for a same-sex female couple. It's for a same-sex male couple. Just kidding. Maybe one day after.
Well, we have had male couples use a surrogate. We've had a number of those as well. A number of people who define their family with the help of a surrogate.
Absolutely. So it's for heterosexual couples. And then in someone who's in a heterosexual relationship, I imagine they can also have vaginal penis intercourse, for example, and use the Mosie Baby at the same time for backup. And for guys, let's say, who have, an issue with erections, ejaculation, and maybe it's just too much pressure, the Mosie Baby can certainly help. And then some guys have some anatomic issues sometimes with intercourse, and the Mosie Baby can help with that. And it's not just anatomically with the penis. Again, if you are, I should have started the show with saying this. If you are under the age of 18 or you're looking at this Facebook Live show and you have not asked your mother's consent, if you are a child, please stop watching now. Because I don't want your sex education to be right here. But maybe the Egg Whisperer show should be everyone's sex ed moving forward. But I mean, all kidding aside, the Mosie Baby, I think, is an important way for people to learn about sex in a way. Because when it comes to trying to conceive, we always think that it should be a certain way. And certainly after a certain period of time, it feels like work. So anything that I can do, and this journey is as hard as it is, to help patients just a little bit. And if it's something like showing them how to do a home insemination, I welcome that. And I'm so glad you have the product.
Thank you.
And so you mentioned something about finding your cervix. I mean, that's like finding yourself. I mean, a lot of people don't even know what that means. And I have patients that they call me and they're like, Amy, I found something. It's in my vagina and it's hard and it feels like the tip of my nose. And I'm like, so tell me more about that.
Absolutely. So I know for myself personally, when I started trying to conceive, and you kind of just keep up in the ante and learning more and more, one of the most powerful pieces of information that I found was finding my cervix. And it definitely took some tries. Most women are not used to feeling inside their vagina and feeling inside and seeing what's in there, first of all. So it really was about what my vagina felt like. And then I had to figure out what my cervix felt like. And I have become a huge advocate for women to find their cervix. It is an incredible tool for you to understand where you are in your cycle. It's actually kind of amazing.
I think I need to go daddy right now and see if findyourcervix.com is available, because I think you're right. Seriously.
It's like this secret that we're too afraid to even mention, because you have to, as a female, take your hand
and reach
and put it inside your vagina.
And not necessarily your hand.
Other people.
I mean, your hand, that's a little bit much.
Well, maybe not your hand. You really
only just your finger.
Finger. Which I know it's kind of graphic for some people to understand, but to be honest, we let other people go inside our body, inside our vaginas, and we're too afraid and timid to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
And so in many ways, it's about reclaiming your body for yourself and knowing what goes on in your cycle. And it's this great piece of education that you can use to empower yourself on your journey.
Yeah. And when I have patients, I know this sounds really weird and odd, but if I have a partner in the room, I'll invite them over when I'm doing an IUI. An IUI, for those of you who don't know, is the intrauterine insemination, where I take a catheter and instead of just placing the sperm in the vagina, I pass it to the top of the uterus. And I invite the partner over to take a look at the cervix and be a part of the procedure. And then again, this sounds really weird, but not for me, is I actually ask the patient and I say, would you like to see what your cervix looks like? And I can show them by, using their phone. I never do it on my phone, duh. And then I just tell them it's obviously for their education so they know what it looks like. Because like you said, it's like this big mysterious thing. What is it? And it's not meant to scare people because it can be scary if you don't know what that hard thing is that's at the top of your vagina that feels like a nose. I have people feel like that there's a tumor or a mass inside their vagina when it's just literally their cervix.
Yeah, it's their body.
Yeah.
It's a part of them.
Totally. So tell me some success stories. Who's used the Mosie? What kind of feedback are you getting? Are you going to be on Shark Tank? Because you should.
Well, first I'll start with some success stories. So we have so many people who have been brave and shared their stories with us and from all walks of life. And so you kind of touched a little bit earlier on types of people and communities for whom Mosie could help. And there's a whole bunch of them. I encourage you to check them out on our website. There's hundreds of them that we've received and they've allowed us to share. And some of my favorites are a family member who cared for her family member who had been trying for years and years and years. And eventually they've exhausted all resources. And she said, I will carry for you. Mm-hmm. We've had, like I mentioned earlier, 2 daddies. We've had some beautiful stories there. We've actually had a number of people who've had journeys like ours who were dealing with unexplained infertility. Mm-hmm. And it's just so amazing to see people who were on that journey where we were conceive with Mosie, where we didn't have it as an option for ourselves.
And I imagine for women who have vaginismus as well, who have severe pelvic pain and just the thought of intercourse, it's just not possible because of their situation, or they haven't sought the therapy that they need. When I talk about therapy, I mean physical therapy. Mm-hmm. And so Mosie can certainly help them as well.
Absolutely. Mosie has been a way for a lot of women who have vaginismus to overcome that barrier for being a mother. And they may be in a loving relationship and it's just been something they've struggled with. And so Mosie is very easy for them to use, very comfortable, it's safe. And we've been really honored that we've been able to be a part of so many people's journey.
And what's your website? Can you spell it out for me?
Sure. It's mosiebaby.com. So that's MOSIEBABY.com.
Awesome. And how much are you paying me today to be on tonight's show?
I'm paying you in hugs and love.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So that's what I'm all about. I'm just about bringing really cool products and technology out there for everyone to know about so that you guys can take advantage of these things and DIY, basically do it yourself. Not to take away from the role that a physician can play in your care. I mean, that's why I brought up Tushy method, which is the 5-step process of getting your fertility checked, talking to a fertility doctor, and make sure you understand what the explanation is. And at the same time, there's always a chance of pregnancy at home naturally, if of course you have open fallopian tubes, good enough sperm and eggs that are working. So just important to talk to a doctor, and certainly Mosie Baby isn't for everybody, but it can certainly help a lot of people.
And I wanted to add that we've actually had a number of couples who have gone through IUI, but during that process, their doctor also encouraged them to have sex, and they used Mosie. And we've heard conception stories like that where people used it in conjunction with the procedures they were doing with their doctor as well.
Yeah, totally. I mean, for years, when I was taught in fellowship, I actually created, I call it the Amy Baby. I get about 2 or 3 a year. It's the same idea of a syringe and a cup, and I give it to patients in bags. So it's something that fertility doctors have been talking to their patients about for years too. I mean, I was taught by one of my professors about how to teach patients how to do this. And I just love that you're now making it accessible for everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. And I love that you and so many other specialists have been able to embrace this method. I mean, one of the things that we really want to do is just empower people to feel loved through this journey and know that no matter how they make this baby that they're working so hard to bring into their lives, that baby is made with love, that you can do something like Mosie and have a baby made with complete and utter love.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I thought of an idea.
All right.
Would you mind singing? I just thought that, that song, Let's Talk About Sex. For anyone who doesn't know, I'm like just obsessed with Salt and Pepper. So let's talk about sex. You know that song that they sing? And for everyone who's watching, I'm holding a sperm cell.
Yes.
That's like my good luck charm. I hold my sperm cell during the show. I don't. I'm thinking there's something about like Mosie Baby. Let's talk about, I feel like there's something in that jingle that Mosie Baby should be
Talk
in.
about Mosie Baby.
Let's talk about
Let's talk
Mosie
about-
Baby. Let's talk about you and me.
and
Let's talk about all the good
all the
things
good
and the bad
and-
things that may be. Let's talk about
talk
Mosie
about-
Baby. I try and incorporate a Salt and Pepper song in almost every show. I think I'm going to do that for the rest of this year.
Start the year off right.
Yeah. And then Maureen, just one last question. How much is Mosie Baby for people who want to buy it?
Sure. So a Mosie kit comes with 2 Mosie syringes for 2 attempts, and it's $89 for one.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you, Maureen, for being on tonight's show. I really appreciate you coming on live from Austin, Texas. I hope that a lot of people had fun listening to us talk about sex, talk about sperm, talk about Mosie Baby, and talk about love. So do you have any last parting words that you want to share with our audience tonight?
I just want to say I love talking to people about this. They can always reach out to us at mosiebaby.com. I have Maureen at mosiebaby.com is out there. That's an email address you can use to reach me directly. And thank you to you for having me on, for talking about Mosie Baby, for talking about home insemination, and for helping people on their journey, because I know it can be a very hard and dark place for many people. And I want them to know they're not alone. And you see them, I see them, and we're here for you.
Awesome. Thank you, Maureen, for those last words. That was great. Thank you for being on tonight's show, and have a wonderful night, okay?
Thank you,
Thanks,
too.
Maureen. See you later.
Thank you so much for listening and making the Egg Whisperer Show a part of your weekly routine. To find show notes and a full transcript for this episode, visit dramy.org and look under the blog tab. While you're there, you can find a link for the Egg Whisperer newsletter, which keeps you in the know about fertility news. You can also find Dr. Amy and the Egg Whisperer Show on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook. If you'd like to learn even more, Dr. Amy offers classes at the Egg Whisperer School, eggwhispererschool.com, or you can request a consultation on dramy.org. Thank you so much for tuning in and for sharing the Egg Whisperer Show with others. Keep sparkling and have a great day.